24 on 24 gives me life, no other way to start the day. 24 on 24 makes it right. We don't care what they say. Carve the place out for us, because no one wants a vibe. Finally a show to love. Fuck it, we'll do it live. It's not lonely at the top, 'cause everyone's right here. For us there's no hard stop. Forever in your ear. 24 on 24 gives me life, no other way to start the day. 24 on 24 makes it right. We don't care what they say. Copy me, I know you will. I do it first every time. Your shit is stale, no one cares, but he's gonna shine. I'm just a baby. Your dad loves me more. I say what everyone is thinking. Typical forever hard. 24 on 24 gives me life, no other way to start the day. 24 on 24 makes it right. We don't care what they say. No more repos, mama got a bag. I do what I please and do it with ease. Number one show in all the land. Haters listen longer. Everyone say hi to Jim. Let's lock in. It's time to ride. Pack Ford over everybody. Now, 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 now. Now, 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 now. Now, 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 now. Love for my besties and bunnies.
All right, good morning. Welcome to 24 on 24. I'm your host, Jess Machado. Per usual, life just like kind of dictates how this show is run. We thought we were in the clear with the summer. Remember, it was like, we're going to just do this new schedule and everything's going to be fine. It turns out it really isn't that. It when you're still responsible for other humans, it's really still not just as we're still not in the clear, essentially. So Georgia has to work today. But Georgia told me last night that she wanted to go very early because she's not working at her other job tonight. But she ultimately was exhausted, and only at 6:30 was like, I'm not going to go in until much later today. And I was like, okay. So I'll start my show at 7:30, and then I'll do it in studio from 7:30 to like 10:30, and then I can drive you in afterwards. And then around like 7:15, she came downstairs and she's like, actually, can I have like an hour and a half so I can like take a shower, get ready? I changed my mind. I don't want to start that late. And I'm like, yes, child, you most certainly can. Yes, you can. So we are forced to go get a coffee, get the things we need done, and then come back, pick Georgia up, drive her, come home, and then By then it'll probably be time to be done with this. So I wanted to be in studio for this one, but we're just going to have to work. We're going to have to work around it. Fuck it. We'll do it live. Good morning to the replay crew. I know there's a lot of you that can't catch us in the morning when we're live. So good morning to all of you. Thanks for everybody for being here. This is the #1 show in all of the land. I don't care what anybody says. I wrote a song all about it. And that's that. We're going to get a coffee. And we're going to have a conversation. We do have an actual agenda. Law of the Land is the name of the show for a reason. And it's a very important thing that I need to share with everybody that occurred recently, that I'm very proud of. And we have to talk about that. But there's a couple of other things that we need to talk about. So as I mentioned, last night I jumped on Oceans because Arkansas Bestie made her show debut, and she just recently had surgery, and I'm not saying is feeling down, but she's just in a weird space in her life right now where she's not physically her outgoing self. And, she went through surgery. So she's I wanted to hype her up and just be go Bestie, you know what I mean? And so I popped into the comment section and I was so proud of you. Congratulations. Oceans was doing the show by herself because Moons wasn't there because she's got some stuff going on. And so I just wanted to hype up, and Oceans invited me to come on, and I saw they were waiting for Kane, who was supposed to jump on. And so I thought I would get in there and just do a minute or two to kind of fill the gap. I thought Oceans could have used a little relief while she was figuring things out. Ultimately, the conversation started with Oceans asked me about Valhalla and stuff. And so I ended up saying a couple of things. But yesterday afternoon, where was I coming from? Probably dropping Georgia off at work. I received a text message from a female follower of Aiden's, longtime supporter and follower of Aiden's. Now, I still don't actually know if that person is known to him. But through our conversation, which ultimately ended up being an hour and a half long, it's very obvious whoever this person is in the context of the Turtle Boy world, I would say is a turtle rider, and it just knows all the lore about Aiden, and just is very much not only a follower, supporter, but really, there are people in this community, or let's just say in Aiden's community, who know and follow everything he does, right? They're not going to miss. They have their own they just know everything, they're like him when it comes to the Karen Reed trial, right? He's an encyclopedia for that. There are people who know all the Aiden lore, timelines, intent, how he's rebounded from, they just got everything. This, from what I've gathered, this person is one of those people. Just through the conversation, I was she's got a really great grasp on him. So I got a text message from this person, and I had a couple previous text messages from them, and I didn't realize it until we started talking, but we had a conversation. And the text message she sent was, you have this Excel sheet that's out there that I didn't make that Excel sheet. Erin made that Excel sheet to help us keep track of the Charlie Kirk merch. And we posted it on a show back in the fall to give us an update of where we were. Now, I didn't see it because it was on X, right? I'm not on X at first. So first of all, before I keep going, I just want to let you know that during the conversation I had with this person, she said that the way that I was talking to her seemed more authentic and real than how I am on my show or how I was on the exit interview with Aiden. And she wanted me to try to just be as honest about things as I can. And it doesn't mean that I'm not being honest when I talk. It's just she was asking me questions when I responded to something and would say, well, why did you say it that way? Or why did you feel that way? And then I would explain it. And she would say, well, see, you really need to kind of explain that. So just give me some grace while I'm talking about this, okay? I know there are going to be people that aren't happy. I'm going to be honest with you. I woke up to 7 emails from people that were unhappy with my comments that I made on Oceans. So let me just let me work through this. Okay. Because it's not going to be easy. So I didn't know that this Excel sheet was out there because it's on X and I'm not on X. So eventually it made its way to me. And I was kind of like, well, this isn't really fair because this is just a rough total at the end. But I didn't think that much about it at first. I genuinely didn't think that much about any of the Charlie Kirk thing ever. And I don't care. So let me just say this. I don't care what people think about how I handled any of that, as long as people understand the number one part about this, which was the inception of selling these sweatshirts and then donating the money to the Veterans Association was conceived out of just me wanting a sweatshirt and then like sharing that option with other people, right? I never cultivated a scam to sell Charlie Kirk merchandise so I could make a quick buck, okay? And there are so many people apparently that are putting slants and conversations around this. I almost can't control all of them. I've seen some things that are just like off the wall crazy. I've seen flat out like I stole all this money. I have to succinctly say, just at the beginning of this whole thing here, if you are one of the people that think that this was a scam to scam people to make a quick money grab, just go fuck yourself. It's not even true. I don't care. There's no way you're going to like dominate the narrative with that. It's crazy. Best case scenario, I was just very casual and was like, let's do this. Never thought we would sell anything. Didn't know how to run the site or whatever. Worst case scenario is that I just don't prioritize this shit and I never really think about it. And I am very fucking lazy and laid back about it. And it has caused a ton of problems. So that's my fault. And I've tried to own that a little bit. But we're just going to talk about one thing about the Charlie Kirk merch, because that's the first. This was not anything. And I think most people know that, but people want to kind of add that to a bigger picture, which we have to discuss. So that rough total on that thing did not include several things. But this person messaged me and she realized that at one point, the hats that I was selling were actually not selling for $25. They were actually selling for $15.50. And I vaguely recall that we had changed the price. I don't know how or why, but that rough total on that spreadsheet does not include hats that were sold at less than the $25. So you see this rough estimate or whatever of, how many hats we sold. So this person broke it down and she goes, here's how many hats you sold. And at $25, it would have been $600. She goes, but you weren't selling the hats at $25. You were selling them for $15. And she had a screenshot of the Charlie Kirk merch hat for $15.50. And I was like, I think I remember that somehow, but this is a long time ago. So she calculated that if all the hats sold at $15.50, that the difference would have been around $300. And that's why that $700 brought us down to $441. And she said that. And I was like, wow, I didn't really think about that. At the same time, though, it didn't seem 100% right because I knew that I had, out of my bottom number, refunded several orders. So while she said, this is it, this is the 300, and it was a really great observation, I was like, that still doesn't work for me. You know what I mean? But I appreciated it. So she sent me a screenshot of it. I looked at it and then I said, well, when I get home, I'm going to go through and look at all of those old orders. Indeed, there were many hat orders that we sold for $15, but at some point we changed them to match the other hat for $25. So that accounts for a certain dollar amount as well to change that $700. And I'll throw up the screenshots when I'm later, or maybe I'll put them on a post on YouTube to show that the hat did sell for $15.50 and not $25. And that impacted that $700. But there were three 4 other things that need to come off that 700, right? So this was, I said, all my profits. So that was the rough thing. Out of that number, that was wrong. So we've got to take off, I believe it was a total of like, it made a difference. I think it the way I calculated it was like $60 had to come off of that. Second, I refunded 2 orders from that. And it was, one was based on the quality of the merch. The person didn't like it. And so I let them keep it and I refunded the sweatshirt. And then another order was a sweatshirt and something else. And the order never came. And I just refunded them their cash. Now, ultimately, I believe that order did come because I remember the name, but it showed it was delivered. But I took their word for it that they never got it. So that also came off the end, the 700. And I also paid my Shopify monthly fee out of it because I wasn't really using the site and I had the bill to pay. And so I paid the Shopify thing as well. The reason that number I came up with to give to the Veterans Association is what was left in my account. That is how I made that decision. I don't remember exactly calculating it, but that was what was left. And that is what I paid. Now, I understand that there was some question about whether or not I paid it at all. And that is why people started going to the Veterans Association. I've already said how I feel terrible that that even happened. And this is where like experience or just not thinking it would ever turn into anything comes in. I could have prevented everything that happened to them by being more transparent. Somebody had messaged to me that Jimmy kind of got jacked up with this stuff in the beginning when he was doing stuff, and he learned very quickly like to be very transparent. It's nothing I've ever done before. I don't raise money for people. I don't do any of that. So clearly lesson learned. The other thing is when I messaged Valhalla, I did it during a show and I threw out a number to him because I felt the pressure to respond to him. I didn't know if he was live and I put like a random number because that's what I thought I gave. Like there was really no other rhyme or reason other than I felt like the pressure. I mean, if you were watching my show, you can go back. You saw that I responded to him live. I don't really know. I was just trying to like quell his like fear and like, you know what I mean? I don't really know where I got that number, but I threw it out there in that email to him. And I was also not clear about how I gave the money. I said cash, but then I said the portal. So those little things when you're under a microscope and there are people that really don't fucking like you for a bigger picture, it gets out of control. But I just, that's it. I wanted to say that that number on the Excel sheet isn't the total number. It's the rough number. The last piece about that is taxes. Some of the merchandise got sold to other states where they do have tax. So I had to pay taxes on that. And that goes into a separate account that I have on Shopify. And there was tax that also went in there. And believe it or not, the majority of the merchandise I sold actually went like outside of this area. So a lot of merchandise elsewhere. I wouldn't say the majority, but I was doing a quick run through of everything last night. There's a lot of people from out of state that bought it. So the difference of that screenshot from that show that we shared, that 700 down to the 447 that I did donate, we're talking a couple $100 that I didn't pocket, that is just out there in some way, whether it's a refund, whether it's taxes, whether it was an adjustment on an item. I'm going to ask for people to clearly see that that's what that was a rough number. And then there were other things that came off. And ultimately, the final profit is what got donated to them. Now, on the show yesterday, I found out that I did receive emails showing those transactions. I never saw those. They went to a spam folder. I have those. I think you guys all saw that live. And I'm going to ask one more time, you don't bother the Veterans Association. They are great about it. A board member ended up calling me last night and spoke about it. And it's stressful for them to deal with it. And I feel terrible. And everything I did for them in the past doesn't really negate what's happening right now. You know, like I said, oh, you know, I did things. But this one thing has been a fuck up and it's been a problem for them. So I'm not going to speak about this anymore. I feel as if this is more than enough. I also understand that there is a lot of other stuff going on, which makes this turn into a hot topic for people, and that needs to be discussed. So the advice from the person yesterday was to address this, make sure I mention the key points that brought that number down. And that is all I should be talking about like little minuscule, not minuscule, it's a big thing, but let's just put that piece to bed. And I just want to say something. If it weren't for that person pointing out that hats had sold for a different price, I'm going to be honest with you, I would have probably never found that. I probably would have never found that. And the fact that it was not a hater, but somebody that really isn't on my team right now, who came out and sent a message and said, listen, I just want to let you know, this number is wrong. This is why. I'm not really happy with everything that you've done recently, but fair is fair. I thought that was just a really great opportunity for me to go back and look at this. And I didn't really feel energized to go back and look at it. I was mad. People were accusing me of stealing, Will's post fucking got me. He's like, I 100% believe Jess pocketed all that money. And I was just like, it never made me feel like I could fight it. That one text message really kind of was like, you know what? Fight for what is right here. And here's a little thing that you probably overlooked. So she didn't have to do that, and she did. So thank you to her. The conversation ultimately turned into, I thought, because here I have an opportunity to have a person on the phone who's not a fan, who used to be a fan, and in light of things was just like Team Aiden, right? And I said, well, while I have you, can I ask you a couple of questions? And she was like, yeah. So one of the things that she said during this call is she's like, I wish we had written some of this stuff down, because there were some very poignant moments in the call, but I'm sitting in my driveway and I'm having this conversation with a stranger, and I'm not really sure how much of it I'm going to remember. And she was like, maybe when we're done here, you just sit down for a minute and kind of think about it so that you can remember it. And I'm sure a lot of what was said will be lost, but there was an overall gist to the conversation that I want to share with you today, if you're okay with that. And admittedly, I don't believe anything I ever say or do will make everybody happy. Okay. I alluded to some of these things last night when I jumped on Oceans, and I woke up to these emails from people that were really disappointed in me and said, I'm not seeing the Aiden thing clearly, and you're giving him too much grace, and he would never do anything to you. So just understand that now, after I had this conversation with this person, this morning I read a bunch of emails and I was like, okay, this isn't awesome either. You know what I mean? So let's order a coffee, and we're going to park and we're going to talk about it. And then we're going to wait for Georgia. And we're going to... Good morning. Can I have a large iced white chocolate pistachio made with whole milk?
Whole milk?
Yes, please. That'll do it today. Thank you. So I wanted a hater opinion without an argument, and I thought I could get it from this person. Now, admittedly, there are a couple things we didn't really discuss, right? About the pile-on and everything that's happened. We never really discussed that. And I actually think I wish I had, because what has happened over the past month has been extremely challenging, personally and professionally. And there's so many different parts about, 15 different content creators making fun of me, scrutinizing me, lying about me, or even just giving hateful commentary towards me, that in the beginning of this, when it first started, I was like, I've got this armor and I can handle it, right? Well, I don't know, at one point something changed and I was like, man, I'm doing it, but I'm not okay. You know what I mean? Like, as I explained, not even explained, I was being very honest. Like, I'm not okay out here. And every day I come out and I'm like, I'm good, let's go, or I'm bad, we can't handle it. All of those ups and downs, you know, on the camera or on the show, fine. But when I shut it off and when I'm at home, you know, my life has been completely consumed by what has happened over the past month. I mean, completely consumed. My brain does not shut it off. Leaving X was helpful for sure, but it wasn't the solution. And I don't know if there is one, by the way. I don't know if there is a solution. Good morning, CL. I'm gonna. Oh no, the.
Wait, talk to the stats.
Yes, please.
749.
Thank you. And bye.
Stop.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you. Hold on, we can't chat. Thanks.
Have a great day.
Same to you. Thank you. So I don't know if it's because I don't want to be really honest about it, whether it's embarrassing, or whether I'm trying to like put on a strong front or whatever. Listen, there's no reason to sugarcoat anything anymore. Let's be as open as we can about everything. I am absolutely miserable. I am miserable. The minute I hang up my phone from whatever I'm doing in the office, shut the laptop or whatever, it's not like it used to be where I just go on about my day or whatever. I am trying hard to do anything at all. There's zero motivation. I already struggle with like procrastination. I am like, my life is just a mess. The frequency of the massive piling on has just like fucked me up in the head. Okay. This isn't actually the way it's supposed to go. I'm supposed to say the other stuff first. Not that was a schedule. I'm just saying in my mind, the other stuff was supposed to come first. I'm just like kind of in a zombie land out here. You know what I mean? The stress and anticipation of something else being said about me, another lie, or even truths that I have to take accountability for or explain, right? The stuff about my looks and my body, and it's just, we're at like a mental health deficit. Put that aside. Sometimes I'm on my phone, right, dealing with text messages, calls, or whatever for so long that when I finally pick my head up and get up off of like either my desk or my couch, I feel like in some sort of like jokingly third dimension where I'm like, am I alive? Like, how long have I been down in that hole? How long have I been fielding those text messages? Like, I stand up and I'm like, it's later in the day. You know what I mean? Now it was just breakfast and now it's like dinner. Like, how did that whole day get away from me reviewing, screenshots. Like, I feel sick to my stomach about how much time I'm on my phone. I am personally not a phone person. I do it for work, but I get off. I can disconnect. I feel like I stand up after hours and hours of weeks of doing this, and I'm like, I just like fucking lost like a whole like day of my life, and it's like day after day after day of it. It's just fucking with my head. So let's put that all aside. And every day I try to come on and I try to give a show because I feel this is pressure from people who want me to do it. And it's not real. I'm not feeling it. I'm struggling a lot. Now, this person who messaged me, we ended up talking on the phone, and she has a really great sense about the ups and downs of YouTubers and whatever. And one of the things that she said was, she's like, I think that you can recover from this. I don't think you getting off the internet or is the right thing. And I don't think your show will be canceled. She's like, but you have to be honest about what the other side is seeing and what is causing all of this. The Baker part was like only a sliver of it. She was like, I'm not going to tell you how I feel about the Baker or whatever. I'm just going to say, like, we didn't even talk about like my take on him or anything. Surprisingly, the majority of the conversation revolved around Jessica Walsh. And I say surprisingly because the way that this was discussed with me, I thought that the majority of this was about Baker and his people. And this person's perspective is that the majority of this issue is Jessica Walsh. Let me talk through this before people riot, okay? Admittedly, and concurred by this individual, not watching shows put me at a real deficit when it came to some things. I really didn't know what was going on. Pizza Allen. The people wanted me. They didn't want me with Jessica Walsh. Like, they didn't want that package deal. And because I doubled down, supported her, went out there and defended her, got involved in this for her, it was not the right play, so to speak. And I didn't realize that. She said there's a way that I could have been a friend and I could have supported without doing it the way that I did, which would have caused so many more problems. And the behaviors of Jessica Walsh prior to everything, I wasn't aware of, is the way it was explained to me. I wasn't aware that she was doing certain things in chats, or the temperament was already off, and all of this stuff. A lot of this conversation involved Jessica Walsh, and I listened to the way that she was explaining it, and a lot of it I can't regurgitate now because it was just, I don't want to get it wrong. But that was one part of it, that I was not aware of how bad Jessica Walsh was being in comment sections, and kind of, it's not her word, my word, kind of terrorizing the community with all of this stuff or whatever. I'm not agreeing. I'm telling you this is the way it was said to me. The other key takeaway, and maybe I have I'm missing a couple of key points of that. It's hard for me to remember this, but the other key takeaway was that Aiden was aware of what was going to happen. He could see it coming, so to speak, and he was trying to warn me and help me by reaching out to me and giving me advice to disconnect from Jessica Walsh. And I asked for everybody to just let me get through this. So let me talk about it, please. Okay? Relax. And Jessica Walsh cannot crash out right now. Just let me out. I don't need that going on right now. Just either listen or whatever. Okay? Either you want to hear the other side and where people are coming from, or we live in the space where it's just a vacuum and Jess Machado is right about everything. Like, you know what I mean? Just hold on. Let me work through this. So the other part of that was conversation had to do with this person believing that Aiden really was caring about me and reaching out to me and wanted me to disconnect from Jessica Walsh. That message, by the way, from Aiden, I'm not really sure if I've ever read it, and I'm going to pull it up just so I can remind myself, but the gist of it was, give me a second. It's been a long time since I've texted him. I'm sure I will break code and I will read a message from Aiden. I think maybe I've never done that, but I will break my code. I messaged him on Saturday, June 6th, and I said, I appreciate you not dragging me. I'm struggling with what's happening, but I'm trying to take time to figure it out. Thanks. This is the very beginning of everything that was happening. He said, of course, I'd never throw you under the bus. If you want to talk on the phone today, let me know. I meant what I said last night, and I hate to see you down, but I really think you need to reach out to Baker and talk to him directly. What Jessica Walsh did to him is abusive and very fucked up. He didn't want to sex with her anymore, which is his right. She wouldn't take no for an answer and relentlessly called him, trashed him publicly, and sent him sex toys he didn't want or ask for after somehow finding his address like a psycho. He sent those pics to her to say, what the fuck? Why are you sending these? Despite all that, he didn't trash her because she's mentally ill and didn't want it to escalate. She sent you messages of him saying he doesn't like your show for the same reason she helped that woman move into her apartment. She's manipulating you. She wanted you to use your platform to shit on him. You don't have to like Baker as a person to recognize how wrong that is. When you said on your show Jess Walsh was a real one and mocked Baker's sexuality about the sex toys, you're legitimizing and endorsing her completely, and it's unacceptable abusive behavior. I'm just going to skip over a couple things here. So he's giving me his whole take on everything. You made the comments endorsing her as a person after Meredith and Kate Peter retweeted and shared the messages she posted. You may not have known she was doing this when you made the comments, but now you do. And for that reason, I believe a private apology is in order. Today you asked what you should apologize for, and you said you already apologized for platforming her. But the apology should be for mocking her sending the sex toys to him, saying he stuck his dick in a fleshlight when he didn't, and making light of what you didn't realize was several months of abusive behavior. I'm not telling you what to do, but I think it would be 1, the right thing to do, and 2, beneficial to your career. People like humble and humility and there is a way out of this. That last line of there is a way out of this, I look back on now and it aligns with the person who talked to me yesterday. That was like, he was trying to help you and he had a much bigger grasp on the situation than you did, which, you know, this person is admitting when I'm talking to them on the phone, I didn't really know what was going on here or whatever. So just hold on. I said, I appreciate this and I'm going to think this over. And he said, okay, let me know if you want to talk. And I said, I will. Thank you. We didn't talk again until the day of the will thing. So, now at the time I felt that that message from Aiden was him trying to jump in, but my authentic reason for not responding to him is I didn't think it was that big of a deal. Again, this is in the beginning of June. I never thought that it was that big of a deal. So I just want to say, like, he was outlining a bunch of stuff, and I was like, I don't think this is that big of a deal. Also, I kind of thought he was making it a little bit about himself there, if I'm being honest, about the Meredith thing, because he had some comments up like what Jess Walsh did is no different than what Meredith did. And, you know, out here in the world on X, anytime that there's an opportunity to strengthen his whole argument about Meredith being crazy, he's going to take it. That's good for him. So I didn't give this whole thing much thought. He clearly put a lot of thought into that message with all of that stuff, but I didn't think we weren't in like burn down the fucking world like scenario we were in. So that's it. I didn't respond. It wasn't like I was being defiant. I was just like, well, this is just not that big of a deal. Apparently he did recognize that this was going to be a big deal. Maybe he knew that these people were going to go crazier or harder. You know what I mean? I have no idea. Whatever. So, now, if you're just joining, just so you know, I'm discussing a conversation I had with a supporter of Aiden's last night. Now, for anybody who wants to say this person who I spoke with last night is just trying to manipulate you or whatever, relax. There's no way that person ever thought we were going to have a phone conversation. None. They sent me a text message about something because it sounds like this person actually cares about what's right and what's wrong. Recognized that the spreadsheet was not accurate and texted me. And when she sent a second text and it was breaking down the numbers, I cold called her and I was just like, I get exactly what you're saying. This is a great find. I'm so appreciative of this. You know, even if it's $60, this makes a difference. Like, thank you. And then I was like, let me just ask you a couple questions. I don't think that person knew we were ever going to talk. I don't think that person ever thought we were going to have a phone call that was an hour and a half long. So there's nobody in the chat that's going to convince me that this person is like some undercover fucking op that was just like, let me send her a text message about something I noticed and whatever. So push that aside, move on. Just like the stuff about the difference of the money, move on. You're wrong. You're wrong. Now, this person had said, think about everything I'm saying. Think about it. Be authentic. Be honest. And I think that would go a long way. The person also suggested that there was some apology that took place, that I need to apologize. And I'm going to tell you not what they suggested, but I will tell you what I do feel sorry for. I feel sorry. I feel responsible for the discord in the community that I added myself to. There was a community that was all in place. And during the Karen Read trials, I am sure that everybody had conflicts and personalities, but for the most part, everybody got along for the greater good of what was going on. Hold on, just let me get this out. And I came in after, and I came after the trial. And so now it's post-trial, it's post-Karen Read verdict, and you have all of these people out here, right, who all maybe got along for the greater good, but secretly, and I didn't know, I knew secretly, didn't really like each other. They didn't like each other. Everybody thought Brian liked everybody. Well, Brian didn't like everybody. Will didn't like everybody, right? A lot of people were all getting along, and everybody seemed like very, very close. And when I came in, I was like, yeah, let me just let y'all know I don't fucking like Brian, right? I don't like Brian. And nobody had done that before. And when I did it, I was like, I want to disconnect myself from this person, because now that I'm here, I want everybody to know, like, I don't fucking like that person. You know what I mean? I don't like him as a person. I don't like the shit he was doing behind the scenes. I don't like the way he was manipulating shit. I don't like it. And I wanted to fucking tell everybody I didn't like it. And that's who I am in real life. I don't fucking like it. I didn't think about it. I didn't care. I was thinking about me, and I don't want people to think like I'm a part of this guy or whatever. And I'm using my new platform to fucking say it. Right after that, I remember people saying, well, I also didn't like him, but just kind of said it. And now she was saying what everybody was thinking. That changed everything, I think. If I had never come in here, I think everybody would have continued to be fake ass bitches to each other, right? Secretly manipulate shit behind the scenes, have these secret fucking grudges against people, and be fake out in this fucking quote unquote community where they're all doing collabs or like dancing around each other's fucking scheduled lives as to not step on other people. But it's really behind the scenes fucking cutthroat and a bunch of people that didn't fucking like each other. And that's a fact. These people fucking didn't like each other. Mike Crawford didn't like Will the Glare. Okay. Like, just facts. So I think, and again, let's just say being naive only gets me so far in these conversations. I believe I was naive in what I did, and I had no idea that it was going to turn into this whole fucking mess, right? However, in my opinion, I believe it would have ultimately happened organically. I don't believe that when you put a bunch of people in a community that were out here for Karen Read, by the way, for Karen Read, but also for the fucking grift, okay? And making a ton of fucking money. That when the grift was over, people wanted to stick around, and you only got a certain number of people watching and a certain number of dollars to go around. It starts to change. So just don't fucking forget that there's a money factor here with all of these fucking people, okay? Nobody out here is doing fucking shows for free. Nobody is doing shows for fucking free. Nobody. Did I start the fire that, changed the community? Yes, I regret that. I wish I wasn't the person that had started it. I wish it wasn't me. I also wish that everybody could be more open and honest about who they like, who they align with, whose values they like, or whatever. When I said this about this person said, why, people's values and who they are at home shouldn't really matter that much when you're talking about entertaining fucking shows. That is a good point. Who Will is when he shuts the camera off shouldn't be anything that I really concern myself about, or people shouldn't. You take his entertainment as face value. This is what he says. This is what he does. You either find it interesting and you watch, you like it, you subscribe, you really like it, you're a member, and you consume the product, you hang up the phone, and you go about your fucking business, right? This person had a really great point about that, and I believe they are right, that you can't really scrutinize people's lives so much that it really kind of like blurs the line between like their entertainment and what they do, right? And what they are in real life. I agree with her with that. However, I am very different than everybody. I make my show personal. I talk about my family. I share more about my life, my kids, my marriage than I ever shared about Karen Reed or Aiden. My show is about me. It is about my life. It is about all of the stuff that is personal to me. And I think that is what my followers liked most and still like most. And so for me, it is hard for me to not think about their personal lives and their people. I said in the beginning, like the Horizon social chart, people took, go crazy about this thing or whatever. It was a way for me to figure out who I considered good people and who I wouldn't want to fuck around with. You know what I mean? And I do take it personal. I do take people's actions personal. I like who I like and I don't like who I like. You know what I mean? And I have to figure that out along the way. I have to think that there are people that I thought were good people that ultimately weren't good people. So I think the person had a good point that I'm talking about people and who they are offline and stuff. And I'm not sure that the way that this person was describing it, that's the right way to consume content. That's not really the right way to consume content. Just take it for face value or whatever. Now, I don't want my followers to consume my content that way. I want them to be emotional. I want them to cry and laugh and feel things and open up and talk about things. And it's another way where I feel like I don't fit into this space or this community. And so there's that. I do feel that what has happened right now, I regret I'm the cause of so much negativity. I regret and I apologize that my actions and my words have caused such a mess. I don't like how bad it is out there. I don't like that there are people who were longtime followers of Baker who are no longer subscribed. I don't like that there are people who call into my show and are like, I loved Aiden and all the stuff, and I can't even listen to him anymore. I feel guilt about that. I feel terrible. I hate the fighting. I hate the sides. It's just making me, I regret it so much. I regret it a lot. So I apologize for making it so bad out there. I also apologize. I don't think people want to be out here fighting and picking sides and going in comment sections. Like, I don't think people want to do that. I don't think that's why people consume comment. There can be little rough patches of drama and stuff like that, and then we move on, right? But like, I don't think people want to be doing this every day. I don't think people want to be fucking in comments. I mean, while I was waiting for this to start, I saw a bunch of people and they're like, fucking, I'm getting off of X. Like, I don't want anybody to just be like hating their fucking social media to the point where they can't be around. Like, I feel partially responsible for that. Okay. So like, that's where I'm at. I feel partially responsible for it. I thought long and hard about the things that this person said about Jessica Walsh and her kind of being a menace in the chats and all of these things. And I was listening to these comments and listening to her say about what was happening. And I think the way that she said, I know I'm getting this wrong, but she's like, we signed, people signed on for you, not you and Jessica Walsh. Like, and you made it so that in order to like listen to you or consume you or whatever, we had to be all in on the Jessica Walsh thing or whatever. And I made all of the, like, I made everybody like pick a side for someone who isn't worthy of having a side. That's not the way that they said it, but that's the gist of it. Like, and it's not, by the way, it's not something I haven't heard before. Okay. And I did say that I needed to think that over. I disagree with that and what that person said. I shared in that call, and I think I've shared it before. I felt terrible that Jessica Walsh was getting the pile-on. I felt terrible at the time that nobody seemed to believe her. And I already figured out that there was some stuff that wasn't being discussed or honest. Like, I knew about the unboxing of the toys, and this person's like, well, you know, he got to those toys and he was not listen, I don't need to take any more time to understand who that guy is. Okay. I don't need any more time. I don't need to consume any more content. I don't need to go back and watch any old shows to understand who or what kind of person the Broken Baker is. Okay. I'm telling you right now, I don't need to do that anymore. I know exactly what kind of a person that man is, and I don't like him. Okay. I don't like him. But I disagree that what I did to stand up for Jessica Walsh was the wrong thing. And if that person is listening this morning, I hope you understand that I did listen to what you said and I did think about it. Now, there's a lot of stuff out there that Jessica Walsh does, and she says some really fucked up shit. Okay. And I am aware that at times she does things and it's a manipulation tactic. We talked about it when I interviewed her. When I asked her, do you think it's okay that you tell people that you're going to, like, you know, off yourself? Like, that's appropriate. Why do you do that? Right. I tried to extract that from her in that conversation. I'd like to just be able to make a blanket statement about this. I don't agree with things that Jessica Walsh says. I don't co-sign any behaviors that cross lines. I don't agree with comments or things that she says when she is crashing out, angry, or doing whatever. I almost don't co-sign anything that Jessica Walsh does. I continue to say that I will stand behind someone who, when they were getting dragged on the internet, was all alone, and I stood with her. I know that people want me to disconnect. They want me to say, fuck her. They want me to do all this stuff. But it's actually less about Jessica Walsh and more about who I am as a person. And I am the kind of person that did see somebody out there alone, flawed, fucked up, said stupid shit, did really egregious fucking shit, and I still stayed behind her when nobody else did. And internet show aside, phones, laptops, all those things aside, when I shut it all down and I think back to that, I don't have regrets on that. I don't have any problems with myself doing that. I still think it was the right thing to do morally. Business-wise, nightmare. But for me, like, as the person I am, that's what I wanted to do. That's how it felt. That's why I feel like it's right. For me, just for me, like how I felt about her, like outside of this fucking business and the money and the views and the clicks, in real life, I felt that was like who I am and why I did it. And to help her out and to be a bigger voice for her. And to, like, that's just fucking who I am. I don't care if people are out here like, you know, she's a loser, she's a thief, she does. No, like, My whole life is filled with very similar behaviors, very similar actions, very similar empathy. And I'm not going to apologize for being the kind of person that I am. I'm just not. So I know this is kind of getting convoluted and it's like I'm trying to get it all out in the right way, but like, I'm not apologizing for it. I'm not doing it. I did the right thing. Maybe she's not a good person. Maybe she's doing all these wrong things. Put that aside. Put it aside. I chose, that's what I did. And I think everybody knows the reasons why I did it. And I think everybody just needs to understand that that's why I fucking did it. And you're not going to change who I am as a person, and that's it. You know, there's this whole theme that was woven through this conversation yesterday was about like, you know, I think your channel can recover from this. I think, but a lot of this is like, you don't understand. Like, I don't even know if I want the channel anymore. I don't know if I want to be out here anymore. I don't know if I want to be in a place where, you know, Jolene Lunzer makes $15,000 a month making fun of people like that. You know what I mean? People you don't even know. You know, like I say my comments about the baker because of that situation, right? Or maybe I don't like making fun of people at all either, and I feel like I shouldn't have been making content like that. Maybe I'm feeling like this, my heart can't handle it. You know, maybe I put on a really good front that it's like all fun and games and let's fucking make fun of people and drag them, but maybe like inside I'm like not okay with it. Maybe I don't like it. You know, maybe like I got myself here and I started off a certain way and now I just want to talk about like my kids and you know, like admittedly, like I feel dirty talking about the Aiden and Meredith thing. I feel fucking shitty giving her that nickname. Not because of Meredith and her crazy behaviors, but because like we did it. You know what I mean? And it's causing her pain. I don't like myself and how I've been acting towards people. I don't like it. And I don't want to do it anymore. And it's not because people are coming at me. It's just like, I don't know. I don't know. I said it last night on Ocean's show, like they got a show where they take other people's shows and they talk about it, right? I don't want to do that. I don't like it. I don't want to do it. I don't have any in journalism or in investigative shit. Like I don't have any of that to talk about. I don't know what my show is. I don't have any definition. I don't know what I'm doing. I do know I like talking. I do know I like coming on here and I don't know. I have been a bad person to people. I've made fun of people. I don't like that I've done that. And it's not because people are doing it to me, but like it is like been a point of reflection where, you know, you hear people say, well, you can't take the heat, but you did, you know, well, then maybe I shouldn't be that way. Maybe I do need to talk. Maybe I need to change those things. Will it ever stop people from doing it to me? No. But at some point, if I don't act that way, then maybe people will be like, well, maybe I'll just feel better about it or whatever. Now, I just cried because I'm getting emotional, but believe me, that's a crazy concept from somebody who really came into the scene watching Aiden Carney shows, right? Which are all of those things and more. Kill yourself, kill your mother, fuck your mother, like all of the worst possible fucking things that you can say on the internet have been cultivated and said on the Turtle Boy live show, right? All of this fucking shit was born on that platform and continues to be that way and continues to exist there. So there's a lot of hypocrisy that I feel really fucking gets under my skin when it comes to this shit. Um, so now, there's a lot of people who are some of the biggest hypocrites I've ever met in my life, right? Some serious fucking hypocrites out here. And a lot of people forget that as much as I share with people, there's a fucking ton of shit I don't share, right? And I think it is a real fucking rich place to come from when you're fucking criticizing or aligned with people criticizing things about me, which half aren't even true, when there are people who have done far worse and the intent is exactly what people try to say I'm about, right? There's some weird fucking shit out there. So a message to literally everybody is you better start thinking about your own fucking lives before you start fucking coming at me for anything. That's not a threat. I'm never saying a word about anybody ever. But I'm just saying you guys better fucking smarten up. Think about your own lives for a minute. That is the first thing. Um I don't know what was out here in YouTube, right? There was just this small little thing going on over here, but I don't like what's out there. Like I don't like what's out there. I don't like what Jolene Lunzer does. Uh I get it. When you're on the internet, you're fair game or whatever. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. 100%, if I'm on the internet and I do a show every day, somebody else can go through that show minute by minute, criticize, make fun, draw attention to negatives, counterpoint it, and do all of this. 100% you can. I just don't think you should. I wouldn't do it, especially about somebody I don't know, just for sport, just for fun, just for sport. And this whole thing opened my eyes to like a whole other facet of the fucking YouTube world, which is just gross to me as like a human, like as a person. Like I'm just like I can't imagine. I know what it's like when I get ready to start my shows. I think about what I want to talk about. I like say, oh, I want to talk about this thing with Jack and Georgia or what my husband and I did today. I'll sprinkle in a little bit of fucking drama or whatever, right? But how does Jolene Lunzer get up in the morning and plan her show to critique me for 5 hours? It's crazy. And then there's another side of it, which is, oh yeah, you turn around and you make fun of it. Yeah, I think like without all of the other shit going on, without being accused of fucking pocketing $500 with stealing from veterans, without being accused of fucking swatting people, without being fucking dragged on the internet for fucking backing a friend, maybe I could probably pivot and just be fine. I just don't want to. I just don't want to. It's just fucking sucks. It just sucks. It's all stupid. This person was like, you need to say this. I do feel like shit. I feel terrible about everything. I hate all of this. Every part about what's going on in this whole arena, people fighting and all this shit. I hate it. I feel so guilty that I caused this. And even if you say it wasn't me or whatever, it was me. It was me. I fucking wouldn't apologize to the fucking baker, and I fucking caused this. I doubled down on it. I made fun of him, and that's where this division started. It would have never happened if I hadn't done it. I feel terrible about it. I am sorry about it. But I don't regret it. one of the things that was discussed about my channel and going forward and coming out of this and maintaining it or whatever, like growth, like you want to keep growing, right? I'm not sure. I'm not so sure. I'm not sure I want to grow. I'm not sure I want a bigger channel. I'm not sure. I used to say like, wow, we just want to keep getting bigger. We want a bigger platform. We want more people and all of these things or whatever. I am not sure. I can tell you what I do like. Wherever it is that I can get on a radio or a podcast and talk about whatever I want when I want, that's what I want. So I don't know where that is. I don't know if it's right here. I don't know if people just keep leaving or whatever. I don't really know. But I have been thinking about what I want, whether I belong here, whether I should be. I can tell you what I want. I want to wake up every day. I want to talk on my phone for 3 hours. And that's it. That's what I want to do. And if that turns into a 5,000 sub channel, so be it. If that turns into a 50,000 channel, so be it. I want to talk to my followers about what I want to talk about, and I want to be left alone. Now, as much as there is discussion about it, and the channel part last night and getting through it and recovering. And even the people close to me are like, we've got to come up with a strategy. How can we turn this around for you? Blah, 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 blah. I'm not saying blah, 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 blah. I'm just saying like, whatever. I'm not even saying it in a negative way. I thank you. Like, I am thankful that they're thinking about it. Right. I look at it like this. I've made enough of money to pay off some debt. And then I had enough of money to pay for my parts of my daughter's wedding. And I don't care about the money part of it anymore. I don't have legal bills to pay like other people do, right? I don't need to get 100 grand in a month. I don't need any of that. I just need to make enough money so that Jeffrey is like, okay, you can keep doing this, right? The money has been wonderful. And I think people think it's a lot. But when I had nothing, anything is a lot. I just want to be able to do it and not be at a deficit to my family. And I don't care if it's small. I don't care about like getting through it and getting bigger or blowing up or whatever. There's a lot of people that like me that were like, you're going to get bigger. And this is, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I need that. I don't know if I want that, because as I explained on the call yesterday, when I was small and on the radio, there was always hate. There was always hate. I was always very like, causing people to like, I used to have callers that would call in. A comment section on stories I would write on Fall River Reporter always had like, oh, this fucking bitch and blah, 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 blah. But the more followers you have and the more visibility you have and the 2 million views in 6 months you have, it's just math. The numbers of people who hate you will go up as the followers and the people who like you go up. That goes up. So, I'm trying to stay I'm trying to stay grounded, right? I'm not money hungry. I'm not out here to, grow and become a conglomerate. I want to be able to wake up every day and do what I've been doing, because it is the best thing in the world to do it. But this other stuff, this Aiden stuff, this community stuff, this is really just problematic. For me. I don't want to be a part of it because I don't fit in. I don't want to be like them. I don't want to do what they do. You know what I mean? It is. It's a mistake to talk about the money, but no, they don't talk about the money because it's so much. They don't talk about the money because it's so fucking much. They don't want you to know how much money they make. You know what I mean? They don't want you to know. I'm not an idiot. I know how much money I make. I know how much my views are. I can tell you how much these people are making. I could guess. A fucking lot. A lot. Um, Penny Nash said that she got blocked. It might have been an accident. There's some blocking going on. So just after the show, I will take a look at it, Penny. Sorry, I'm not sure. I did block someone, but I might have hit the wrong one. I'm on my phone, so I'm in a parking lot if anybody cares. I'm not driving. All right. I think this was supposed to be a little bit more tight, but I'm all over the place with it. Stay out of it like Melanie does. We're getting, I think, well, I think you have to get to that point and it's organic and we can't we tried that. We were like, oh, we're going to the third dimension. We're going to get out. We got 1 foot in the third dimension and 1 foot back in the fucking shit pile. We're not quite out of there yet. Social Blade. So actually, can I be honest with you? Social Blade's not accurate with the money. Just saying. It's just not, it's not accurate. Because I look at mine and it just doesn't match up. So, anyway, we have to, it's like a divorce. We're still in the just post-divorce era. You know, who divorces somebody and all of the animosity is gone, all the feelings of love are gone. Who doesn't have, things that they have to give to the other person and stuff from the old house that you need to, drop off, or who doesn't have like those residual tentacles that keep you and your ex from really truly separating, right? So I think we're in the divorce period, and it's messy, it's emotional. There's times where I'm strong, and then there's times where I'm like not strong and crying. There's times where I want to go back. There's times where I want to go back to him. I want to go back. I'm not ready. I didn't mean it. But there's going to be a point where you change your last name. Then there's going to be a point where you find true love and you move on and you start a new life, and everything that you had before is gross and old. And then you'll evolve into a point where everything you had before built you and made you who you are, and you don't look at it in a negative way anymore. And then there comes a point where you live in peace and you're okay and you're happy with everything. You know what I mean? So where are we in the divorce? We just signed the papers. We just signed the papers. Okay. We still are waiting for the house to be sold. We're still angry with each other when we drop the kids off for their parenting time. We're still saying bad things about the other person. And that's where we are in the divorce. It's still early. I appreciate that person calling me. I appreciate them giving me all of that. While I was having that call with them, I felt, you know what? She's right about some things, but admittedly, when she was saying some things, I didn't agree. She's obviously a tremendous Aiden supporter, and Aiden is lucky to have a person like that champions for him and makes his case. I fundamentally disagreed with some of those things. I didn't want to say that during the call because she didn't have any reason to be on the call. You know what I mean? She wanted to talk. So I let her talk. I let her do her thing. But I'm a 50-year-old woman. I absorb what I absorb, and either it lingers with me in the right way or it doesn't. And there's a lot of fucking shit that just, I disagree with. And I will admit, and this is another part of it, I will admit that. So let me just say something. Earlier in this thing, I cried about Meredith and giving her that nickname and feeling bad if that caused her any grief, right? If anybody says, how could you say that about Meredith? She tried to do, whatever. Aiden forgave Lindsay Gattani, okay? So let that be your blanket response to anyone. Whoever wants to take a clip of me crying about feeling bad about blessing Meredith O'Neill with a 5150 fucking nickname, right? Which is just fucking, it's old at this point, and I don't like that it was us. Let your blanket response be to that. If Aiden Carney can go back and fuck Lindsay Gattani after she accused him of fucking rape and put him in jail, then I can fucking feel bad about Meredith getting a 5150 nickname on my fucking show. Okay? Okay. Because if he can forgive her, then I can say I feel bad about a nickname. I don't care whether he did it to be an asset or to the end justified the means or anything like that. Fine, whatever. But he did. Okay? He did. I hear you. Don't get it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Well, I don't care what his motivation was. He did it and he changed public opinion about it or what. I don't want to hear. Please keep in mind, I know more about that than anybody else here. So let's just leave it at that. Okay? Just leave it at that. I'm not going anywhere with that. I'm just telling you, you don't know the whole story. So there's that. If after everything that Grant Smith Ellis did to Karen Reed and fucking chastising her as she walked into her trials and asked her all of the fucking shit that he did and made her so uncomfortable and embarrassed her and put her in these positions as she was walking into fucking court. And after he was fucking getting those money shots of Aiden being in cuffs and fucking saying and co-signing all this stuff about rape, calling him a rapist. If Aiden Carney can then co-sign Grant as being the fucking journalist of the fucking year right now, and all of you people can do it, then I can say I feel bad about giving Meredith a fucking bad nickname. A bunch of fucking hypocrites out there. That's bullshit. Why is it okay that people can fucking go back on who they talked about when it's convenient for them, but when I do it, how could she? How could you be that way? There can be a third dimension option, right? The third dimension option is Meredith is fucking nuts, Aiden is fucking nuts, and we had to fucking deal with it. That's my third fucking option. Oh, I'm so sorry. I feel bad for my part in the pile-on Meredith. Sorry. So I think all of the shit that oh my God, there's so much other fucking shit. Like, it dies with me, and that's just the way it is. But I don't feel bad about some shit. And I feel bad about some shit. That doesn't mean that I co-sign lying or stealing his information or any of that shit. It doesn't mean that I co-sign. No, doesn't mean I think that that's correct. But there's other shit on the other side that I didn't agree with either. Which is why, this other space, getting away from these people, getting away from this fucking shit. Intent matters on a lot of stuff. Intent matters. Do I think it's fair that I've been going through all of this? Sure. I run my mouth. I put myself in this position. I created a lot of drama. I could have kept my mouth shut. I could have stayed out of it. Will I do those things in the future? Probably. I don't know. Probably. Why do you feel bad, though, with everything she's done? Yeah, let her lie in it. Listen, Meredith O'Neill got fired from her job because of Meredith O'Neill. And I am sure that her own actions caused her to get fired, and she knows that. Okay. I am sure that everything that happened during this breakup were her own actions, but he is responsible for some stuff too. And we're allowed to talk about it because we were all a part of it. That doesn't mean I'm like turtle boy deranged. You know what? I actually fucking take the power away from that turtle boy derangement syndrome. That is a way to literally make fun of people who disagree with him. Right? And forcing people to be put in a position where if you go against me, then you don't care about the First Amendment. How about I care about the First Amendment? How about I care about fucking government corruption? How about I care about railroading people and putting them in jail and conspiring with witnesses to fucking put you in jail? How about all of that? But how about I also think that you're a fucking bad person when you do some shit? And even not all the time, just sometimes. And I don't know why I have to get shit on for that either. Some weird people out here. Some weird fucking shit that goes on. I'm sure there's some things that I'm forgetting. A massive pile-on from the internet has been a very difficult thing. A lot of times I have to just think about, in the world where I live every day, what is my life like, right? What are my relationships with my people, my friends? And admittedly, my real life friendships have taken a backseat to what's been going on for the past month. Funeral lady, I feel terrible, but funeral lady texted one night and she was like, I'm having a really bad night. Like, I'm putting a bat signal out to anybody who wants to come for a walk, right? Which on any other given day, I might partake in, right? But I was like so not in a fucking headspace to take on what was going on with funeral lady that I ignored her. I was like, I'm fucking dealing with fucking people on the internet. And I fucking hate myself for that because I feel bad that funeral lady needed a friend and I was too consumed with this bullshit. So consumed, I couldn't even text her and be like, hey, I can't get myself out of this fucking mental hole I'm in right now. But like, do you want to chat? You know what I mean? Maybe I don't even want to go for a walk. So my friendships this month are suffering. Shout out to like Lauren, Kathy, Amy, and a couple others who like to stay behind the scenes. And my home life this month has just been a lot of not being present. I'm fucking barely cooking dinner. My favorite thing in the world. I'm not I'm letting all of this stuff like cross over into my real life. I'm not feeling motivated. I'm not feeling great. So In politics, I've been taught how to take down an opponent or someone as a threat. And I have learned from some of the best in the political industry what to do. I have watched, not participated in, but have watched people take down political leaders with such skill. uh, it's wild. And I learned from some, and I say best of the best, but some, listen, politics is a dirty fucking game, right? Not at the level that at the level I'm at to an extent, but when you start talking state politics and gubernatorial candidates and all of these things, right? There are some people who have been in the political world in Massachusetts for decades, right? And they were brought up by people who had been in it for decades. If you think that there isn't a power that goes on behind the scenes, you're just sadly mistaken. And believe me, I lived in a space where I didn't know that that existed either. But trust me when I tell you that there are people on both sides of each party who are fucking crazy when it comes to politics and power, because politics and power leads to money and jobs and influence, and it's on a micro scale compared to the country, but believe me, that's where it happens. And so I have, I believe, a skill set where I could easily take out anybody in this arena. In this arena, there's things you can do, and believe me, maybe that's what's happening to me. I think everybody who knows me in the political world knows that I don't have that in me. I've always leaned on, you don't need to take out the other candidate. You just have to be the better candidate, or you have to be the right candidate, or you have to focus on your skill set and what makes you the better candidate instead of trying to take out the other one. You know what I mean? So for me, that's how I've always done things, right? When they go low, we focus on us. And I've run several campaigns, and Todd Costa is one of them, where we were dealing as a team with an onslaught of negative campaigning. And we had in our hands information and stuff that we dug up on this person where we could have put that out there and it would have really influenced a vote or two. But I feel, and I'm proud of it, that I influenced the team to say there is a way to do this without dragging that person, because there are voters who will look at us doing that and say, you're no better than them. I'm not voting for either fucking one of you. Right? So can I jump in this arena and play this game and do what these people are doing? Just understand I can. I'm a pussy right now and I'm crying and I'm sad or whatever, but don't fucking misinterpret me as being somebody who could fucking get out here and fight back and be vicious about it, right? I just don't think that ultimately is the right thing as a person. I just don't think it is. I'm not, that's not coming from some fucking moral high ground. I'm just saying, like, it doesn't fucking feel right with my fucking brain or my heart. So the only other thing is to pivot completely and go back on me. Why do people want to listen to me? Why should people listen to me? Why have this channel and do all of these things? And it's all comes back to me, my talent, my skill set, when I'm good at, and that is what I need to exclusively focus on. So there is going to have to be a step in this divorce process now where we move even further away from this. Okay. I cannot have anybody discuss this stuff. Hi, Georgia. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Are you ready? Okay, I'll come grab you. Thank you. We cannot talk about anybody anymore. Okay. We can't. We have enough of stuff that we can talk about that is not related to any of these people. We were leaving the community, but as I said, it's not an easy break. And I said the divorce thing, and I think that that's pretty accurate. You can't just, this is a place where we lived. This is a place where we loved. This is a place where we grew. We can't just do a complete fucking thing. However, a big part of my show is my listeners, my chat, now my calls, and all of these things like that. I can't have it anymore. So there's going to have to be some stuff that happens, and I'll talk to the mods about it. No comments about anything related to these people, anybody, are going to be allowed in the chat. You'll get blocked, right? So that's the first thing. So today's it. Today's the last day. It's done. There will be no discussion in the chat. Don't drop did you hear what Aiden said on the show? Or did you see what? No, it's done. Okay? Over. The chat will be completely eliminated from talking about it. Second, I love the phone calls. I think it's awesome. It is great. No more discussion about any of it. No more discussion about Aiden, Baker, Will, any of these people. Done. So if you were going to call, I was going to come up with a plan to just say, like, we're going to take calls on this specific subject, but that's not going to be the case. We're just not going to take any calls about any of them. Okay? Third, if I bring it up, I need to be held accountable. Maybe we need a code word. I'm not really sure. You can Venmo me 2 cents like Jen Altman did and yell at me or whatever. Say, here's my 2 cents. I'm not really sure, but I will need to be held accountable as well. A big part of my show is my interaction with my fans, which I will say fans if I want to, because I feel like you act like fans and I say fans. My fans or my followers or supporters. It's a big part of my show, especially now that I'm in the studio sometimes and I have my laptop. I want to be able to interact. It needs to be clean. There's 1,000 other fucking things that we can talk about. 1,000 other things that we can talk about in the world. Maybe when all of this is kind of healed a little bit, we can go back and we can start talking about things that are happening. We definitely need to talk about Aiden's case at some point, right? When this starts ramping up, we're not going to starve ourselves of stuff that we really genuinely care about. However, we have to be done with this. And I can't do it by myself. I'm not that strong, at least not now. So I need everybody who's here to be on board with that. I don't care if you go do it elsewhere. I don't care if you go in anybody else's chat. I don't care if you talk about it online. I don't really care. However, don't put it in Bestieverse. Don't go into that group and start putting any screenshots. Don't. It doesn't matter. Listen, can I just say something? I shared today that the difference between the dollar amount on that thing and what I ended up paying had all of these other factors, and that's what brought it down. We'll put that to bed, us, but they may still want to keep going with that, right? They still may want to call the Veterans Association. There may be something else that they want to do. We are never going to be able to stop people that don't like me and want me to pay for being who I am for whatever reason, whether I deserve it or don't. So we can sit here and we can continue to mitigate every fire that comes my way, or we can just fucking ignore it. But we have to make a clean break and say we're going to fucking ignore it. Okay? Because after that call with that person last night, it was like a genuine apology can heal you, can kind of bring you back into not bring you back into the fold, so to speak, but kind of like whatever. She also encouraged me to call Aiden and said that Aiden would be receptive to me talking to him again. And I never felt like I wanted to do that. I never once felt like I wanted to call him and smooth things over. Not now, not a month ago, never. I never felt like I wanted to come to some sort of an understanding with him. I want to say exactly how I feel. He hurt me. I didn't deserve it. I maintained my loyalty to him. I did what he asked. I was always doing the right thing by him. I gave a lot to him, more than he ever gave to me, and I don't want to talk to him about it. I don't want to smooth it over. I'm good. I feel good. I don't want to do it. If I wanted to, I would have. I just don't want to. Can the chat help me move forward to a completely different place? Are you ready for that? Can you do that? Do we want to do that? There's no reason to have a phone call. I don't need to do it. I've thought about it. I just don't need to do it. Are you sure? You're all saying yes, but I don't know. Are you sure? I'm outside.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. You're in. Now, am I in? Yes, I'm in. Now, this may mean things are rough. This may mean we may lose half our subs. This may mean that I don't make as much money. However, I'm okay with that. I feel that that is the best. Okay? If you want to be here, be here. But understand things have to change. Okay? Don't text me. Don't tell me. Don't. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't going to be things I don't want to like joke about or make fun of about some things, okay? Maybe things that are completely outside of this, like whatever, who knows? I can't even, whatever. I can't think about it, but third dimension was a feeling, but like what we're doing is a tangible thing, okay? Separate. We don't take down our opponents. We focus on ourselves. We just, because of negativity, this is another thing I want to say, because of like negativity or do you know like how bad, do you know how bad I was dealing with this like veterans thing? These people had me convinced I stole the money. These people had me convinced that I was a thief. It's like, I stole it. I did it. I kept it. Even though I didn't. It's the same way I think that when my kid gets in his car, he's gonna get into a car accident. It's an irrational thought process rooted in insecurity and fear. So, did I really swat them? Did I do it? So anyway, George is getting in the car. We're going to pivot from this. We'll come back to it at the end, but we're going to talk to her. And I've got something else I really wanted to share. Hi, Queenie. Feel better? You slept a little later?
I do, but then I'm like, it's 9:30.
That's okay. It's all right.
I know. I just feel like I should have gone earlier.
Are we stopping anywhere?
Gas station.
Gas station. So the one over there? You got it. Okay.
I can't.
Great question. Thank you.
Do still feel sick.
So we're live. Anyway, so Georgia is asking how I was feeling. Yesterday afternoon, I started to feel sick. Let's back it up. Yesterday was Tuesday.
Yes.
Monday, I was exhausted, but like physically so tired. With lupus, I have those things where I start to get like, run down and I will nap or whatever. Admittedly, I'm not getting a lot of sleep, but I was so fucking tired. It was like crazy. Like I couldn't keep my eyes open, and that is usually a precursor to getting sick. Now, if you remember, I went to the Portuguese club and Blackie was there, and every time I see Blackie, I get fucking sick. So I was like, oh, I could be getting sick. Yesterday afternoon, I recognized right away. I started to get a sore throat. I started to have a headache, and I was getting like a little bit of a chill. And I took action. So I started taking Tylenol and Aleve. I did multiple turmeric teas. orange juice, and admittedly, I had 2 Red Bulls. There's a lot of vitamins in that. That usually helps me. I hate to say it, but it curbs my. It helps me. I don't know. It's just like this cocktail that I make. And I went to bed. I didn't sleep, but I laid down, and I'm actually feeling better. That was a long way of saying my throat isn't sore anymore. And I'm trying to recover from it. I'm hoping. I still have that little feeling in my head that's not quite right, but I think if I like end my show today and I just rest, like if I can lay down and I can rest and still do the tea, orange juice stuff, like I might be able to get past it. I think I have something going on, but it's like not quite out there yet. Today? Really? So we're back to heat?
I think just today. I think the rest of it's rain.
We need to dry up all of this rain from yesterday.
It's just
So much rain.
Yeah, so today it's gonna be 82.
Okay.
Tomorrow 87, cloudy.
Yeah.
Friday 88, rain.
Okay.
Saturday 81, rain. Sunday 81, sunny.
Okay.
Monday 83, sunny.
Okay.
Tuesday 86, sunny. Wednesday 92,
All right.
sunny.
Too far back. I can't get that far.
All next week it's gonna be sunny.
All right. What's the weekend again? Did you say Saturday rain?
Saturday rain 81, Sunday sunny 81.
What's the date on Saturday?
Saturday
This Saturday?
11.
Okay. So it's the following Saturday that we're celebrating Jack's birthday. Or somewhere in there. We're doing that weekend. He has all those days off. He wants to go to Water Whiz. So I'm going to try to figure that out. We'll figure that out. All right.
Rome like wants to hang out with me, her, Marks, and Shaylin today. And
Okay.
I'm like, okay, well, I work this morning. Marissa gets out at 3.
Yep.
So I'm like, anytime,
That's fine.
after
I'll drive
that
you there.
we can.
At Marissa's or at...
That's what I'm trying to figure out because I'm like, I'm free all day. Angela's working. Like, I have nothing going on. Like, are we going to hang out at my house, Marissa's house,
Right.
And
You
like,
want to come to the pool?
nobody's answering.
You'll figure it out.
No.
You guys can go to the pool if you want to. No, thank you. My daughter asked me if I want everything. Anything. All right. So let me, I can I just tell you this? Okay. So let's back it up. So several years ago when I was working at Fall River Reporter, I wrote a story about Jacob Pothier. If you're new here, you probably don't know about it. But if you've been here a while, you do know about it. So if you want to post-show, catch up on this. And just let me get through this little part of it. I know I tell stories and it takes a long time, but there's a really great thing that happened and I'm so proud of it. Just like add it to my obituary. So I got tipped off about a student by the name of Jacob Pothier. He went to Greater New Bedford Voc Tech School and he was killed in a car accident in a car that was allegedly being driven by a woman by the name of Kathleen Martins. Kathleen Martins was a former security officer at his school, and he and she had a sexual relationship. She groomed him. He broke up with her several times, and when he finally broke up with her, she manipulated him into going and meeting her, getting in a car with her. The car crashed. Jacob died. Kathleen Martins did not. No charges were ever filed against Kathleen Martins. That's another story for another day, okay? When I started investigating the Jacob Pothier case, nobody would talk about it. And even more than that, there was a very deliberate attempt to keep this out of the news. Facebook comments started going around right after I started talking about it. And people were hearing what I was saying. And in the comment section would say, like, there was something going on. New Bedford Police Department released a statement on their Facebook page telling people to stop the rumor mill. Okay? Stop the rumor mill about what was going on. This was very early on. They said, stop the rumor mill. When I already knew with confidence that student had a relationship with that former security guard. So the whole thing was to just keep it quiet. But during that time, I was talking about this whole situation frequently, and it ended up bringing up other stories of teachers that had relationships with students. 3 separate stories came to my attention that were verified, but with sources, so we couldn't publicize them or publish them, of teachers having relationships with students. Now, the Pothier case was the only boy with a female employee. The others were girls with male employees, coaches and teachers. Now, every single one of them was confirmed. I had proof. And all of them were swept under the rug and never publicized, because the law in Massachusetts was the age of consent is 16. And so if there happened to be a 17-year-old junior at a high school that wanted to be in a relationship with a 24-year-old teacher, there was no law in Massachusetts that would cause that person to be charged. And I'll give you the case in point. When I got tipped off about a teacher at Diamond Regional High School, vocational high school, I had somebody reach out to me, and I'm going to tell you, it was an employee, okay, of the school, reached out to me to tell me about a teacher who was caught with a student in Rhode Island. So Diamond is in Massachusetts. A teacher and coach was caught in a car with a 17-year-old student in neighboring Rhode Island. This person called me and said, I see that you are doing work on this Jacob Pothier case. You're talking about this loophole. I have a story for you. Now, this person is a very reputable individual. They are very well known in the community. So there was never a doubt that what this person risked at all coming to tell me, and gave me all of the details. They told me that this happened on a Friday night. By Monday morning, the school was aware. The teacher resigned. At the next school committee meeting, they accepted his resignation, and he was gone. No charges were filed or anything. He also went so far as to tell me that the parents were called, and the parents did not want to press charges. They were embarrassed about what had happened. Portuguese, they were embarrassed, and they wanted no publicity on it. And so they chose not to press any charges for anything. No, there was no charges to really press. The girl was of consent, of age. And this person was able to resign and ultimately go work in my school district in Somerset. And he was working there at the time when I was informed of this. Ultimately, I put in a public records request for the police report, and it was denied even through an appeal system in Tiverton and Rhode Island. It was denied. They felt that because there was no crime, that it had an impact on the parties. And I even asked for a redacted version of it, but they refused to give it to me through the appeal. I appealed it twice. Fortunately for me, a police officer confirmed it, told me about it, confirmed it, and everything, but off record. So I had the proof, but I didn't really have the proof. So put that aside. Now that guy's teaching at my school district. There's another teacher in our town who there were rumblings of him having a relationship with a student. And that teacher and the teacher from Diamond both were working together, coaching the baseball team together. And I had an eyewitness to this Somerset coach going into the home during the day of the student when the parents weren't home. And that combined with another very specific tip from a reputable individual I knew with certainty that the coach of our baseball team was having a sexual relationship with a student. And I went to my boss at Fall River Reporter and I said, I have 2 stories of 2 teachers who are having relationships with students, and I have proof. And he said, write it up. And he was like, I don't understand. Like, how are these people not getting charged? And I said, there is no law. The age of consent is 16. And he's like, but they're teachers. And I was like, I know. And to Mike Sylvia's credit, he was enraged. The fact that I was telling him that there were relationships with teachers, it really got to him. He couldn't believe it. So I'm out here doing the work and investigating. I write up the stories about these, and they don't pass the test with the legal team to get published. A lot of it, as confident as we were, opened them up to like a lawsuit. So he had me go back and yikes. He had me go back and change the story to a less specific, take out the names of everybody and just do alleged, right? To kind of get it out there. So later when I'm done, I'm going to find the story and I'll link it for you. So it went over the Pothier story with the names, but then there were 2 other stories. And there was a third one too, but I didn't have like the confidence about it or whatever. We published it and it got just no traction. Just nobody cared. Nobody had picked up the Pothier story. Nobody talked about it. And Mike Sylvia was just so frustrated with it that he reached out to Carol Fiola, who is our state rep, and he called her and they met. And he was like, are you aware that students in Massachusetts can have relationships with teachers and there is no legal consequence for it as long as the student says that it was consensual? And to Carol Fiola's credit, she didn't know, but she talked to Mike and said that she was going to write legislation to, go ahead, to change that. And this month, that bill passed. So my boss called me and he said, I'm not sure if you're aware of this. It's in the Boston Globe yesterday, I believe, or a couple days ago. I don't know the date, but the Boston Globe wrote an article about it. And Carol Fiola introduced this bill and fought for it for the past 2 years. Oops. And it is now illegal for a teacher to have a relationship with a student, even if the student is of age and consents. And yesterday, when Mike called me to tell me and to congratulate us on our work, and you know, he's a little miffed that Carol didn't give him any credit for bringing it up or any credit to me for all the work I did to expose this in her community. She's our state rep in Fall River, and this is where all this stuff was happening. He was miffed about it. I was too busy celebrating that we actually now have a law that has changed because of the work that we did. How do you feel about that? All right. Wake up. Put that trash in there. Thank you. What are you thinking for timing? 2 hours?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm going to go home. Call me when you're ready. You good?
Yeah. I'll call you like 30 minutes.
Okay. That's fine. That works. Tell Mongo I said hi. Mongo. Your drink. Bye. Love you. So I'm not saying like it was just me, right? Or Mike, but also it was me and Mike. Now I've already cried once today, but I am immensely proud of the work that we did. And I am immensely proud of of Mike at the time taking my work seriously. I am unbelievably proud of him recognizing this and not just looking it over and just being like, yeah, it's a story. And him taking it to these state reps, right, was a fantastic idea. And I will give it to her, to Carol Fiola, who I hate. She's a crazy Democrat. But I'm very thankful that she listened to Mike tell her about what we were uncovering, and her recognizing that teachers having sex with students isn't a partisan issue. You should be against that. And I don't know, yesterday was such a bad day and I'm dealing with all this other stuff, but I want to like celebrate so badly what we did. Mike and I, I'm also very proud of Mike and I continuing to like talk to each other and kind of work together on things. Like us back and forth last night, I was so proud of us. You know what I mean? Like when we were doing this stuff and uncovering this stuff, when nobody knew who I was or whatever, it was like thankless work. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't getting paid anything. Nobody saw it. The stories weren't picking up traction. But for us to have fucking made a difference and introduced a bill, that means every fucking teenager who is in a high school, even if you think it's not your fault, right, that you consensually wanted to get into a relationship with your fucking coach, you were being groomed. It's wrong. It's inappropriate. And they convinced you that it's okay. Don't ever feel like, listen, I had a woman reach out to me when I started talking about this stuff, and she called me and she said, you don't know me, but many years ago, that baseball coach, I was a student of his, and I used to sext him. Now, keep in mind, this is literally 15 years before now, current day, but she was in school and she used to sext this guy, and he was married and the conversations were inappropriate. And she said to me at the time, she felt she was cool. She thought it was great. And some of her other friends were doing it with him. And she never saw anything wrong with it until she got a little bit older and she started to feel disgusted with it. And then she went through the process of blaming herself and saying like she went along with it and what was wrong with her. And then she finally got to the point where when she reached out to me and she was like, I was a victim of his. I was a victim of his. I was just a kid. I was 16 years old. He was inappropriate. He manipulated me. And I understand people don't like to talk about those things and it's taboo or whatever. It is happening currently every day. In every single solitary school, I am telling you right now with certainty, there is a teacher inappropriately talking to or having a relationship with a student. The odds, the numbers are just there. Every single solitary person I ever talked to would tell me about this. The majority of them can't be proven. The majority of them would need somebody to step up and say it was me. But thanks to myself and Mike from Fall River Reporter and our communications work and Carol Fiola, Massachusetts now has a fucking law against it. And I am fucking jazzed. So I don't know, man. As we're navigating through what this fucking channel is, maybe it's a channel that just fucking does good shit like that. But also we talk shit about people too. Because Carol Fiola is a scam artist. Her and her husband are scammers. But she did write a great bill and she got it passed. So I'm thrilled. Okay. Now, something about Big Brother, okay? Jokingly, as a defense mechanism, I told Jolene or her show, because I know she'd listen to everything, I'm going to watch Big Brother. I'm going to be commentating on this whole thing too. Never watched a day of Big Brother in my life. Just have no idea. Don't know anything about it. Just no idea. Then right after I say that and Jolene talks about it or whatever, I get a message from a person who is like, bitch, stay the fuck out of Big Brother world. We don't want you. It's dangerous out here. We will you're going to get fucked over. Don't do it. You don't belong here. And I was like, you've got me scared. What are you talking about? I can't fucking talk about Big Brother. Listen, you guys talk cults. Big Brother is a cult. There's people crazy. I don't want anything to do with this. This is not. No, but I did say, what if it is interesting to me? They're not going to gatekeep this. So I did a little recon. with confidence, I can say it's not for me. It's just not for me. But the nail in the coffin for me was yesterday when they announced the cast. I guess this is a big thing. Now, it starts today, right? Is today the day it starts? Now, this is also nothing against the people that are into it. I love that there are people that are really into a fucking TV show because TV is becoming a thing of the past, and I am here for that. So hold on to that with your fucking death grip. Keep it. It's wonderful. No complaints about that. But they released the cast, and I know someone who knows a person that's part of like the cast, like the older people that come back or whatever. I don't know enough about it. But I went and clicked on a video and they released the cast, and I watched these people, and they all have crazy names like Kona, Cow, I don't know. It's exceptionally animated, seems a little produced. Everybody had to be high energy. And I was just like, I just don't think any of these people are people I want to watch. But I guess there's some strategies behind this, and you can win $750,000. My first take is, why only $750,000? Why isn't it like 10 million? It's obvious this is a money-making machine. Why is the reward only less than $1 million? $1 million isn't enough for this? You need like life-changing money. I'm not sure what's going on, but why is it only 750,000? Is a part of lore? I don't know, but I think this money should be at least 5 mil. It needs to be life-changing. And it seems to me like there's a lot of fucking money out here. So I don't know what's going on. Is that Les Moonves's wife that is the host? Yeah. So anyway, yesterday I watched the release of all of the people. I reaffirm it's not for me. It was a joke that I was going to do it. I would never do this. I just wanted Jolene to think I was going to do it. I don't care if you believe me or not. We're out here we don't have to prove anything anymore. We don't have to prove anything. I admit to all the shit I fuck up on. I admit to what I do and what I don't. But we're not going to disprove all of this fucking shit. We may let the swatting thing go. I'm tired. I'm tired of it. Which reminds me, somebody did message me last night and told me I should have mentioned this earlier and I forgot about it. I'm sorry. Apparently Valhalla was doing a stream last night and it got reported and everybody is saying it wasn't me. It wasn't me. So I don't care if you say it was me. I don't care if you want to go on 5 different streams and say it was me. Fucking prove it. Wasn't me. I had no idea you were doing it. I wasn't watching. I didn't report it. I don't report streams. On the opposite, I tell everybody don't report shit. Don't report. Don't do me any favor. I don't need you to do it. If I wanted to report it, I'd report it myself, and then I tell you I reported it. I don't report. I don't need to. I don't want to, and I don't want people reporting my shit. However, for people to go out and say it was just Machado or whatever, fuck you, okay? You don't know what you're talking about. Stop lying. Fucking weirdos. And also, welcome to the internet. People can report your shit, and if you're doing something wrong, they're going to report you, and it's going to get taken down. So I don't know what it was about. I don't know what he was saying. I think he was dissecting all of my numbers. Again, he didn't know the stuff about the hats. He wasn't taking into consideration taxes or fees or refunds. Plus, it's hard. He's a veteran. I don't even blame him. And my followers were mad at me. Fuck Valhalla. No, I don't fuck that guy. He's been nice to me. It's fine. He's been polite. Do I think he's fucking acting on behalf of these people? I would say yes. Stay the fuck out of it. But whatever, dude. I'm not going to go after him. He's a veteran. Absolutely not. He has every right to do what he does. He's wrong. He doesn't have all the information. And dude, if you want to fucking take me down for $249 that you were not sure where it went, by all means try. Okay? But no fucking channel is going to disintegrate over you not having all of the facts. Like, it's just not going to happen. So with all kindness, I didn't report your show last night. I'm sorry that happened to you. It's rude. I don't recommend. 0 out of 10. I didn't even know we did shows. All right. This is going to be a short live. I'm not sure if I missed some things. I wanted to try to get it all in. I understand I was a little all over the place. It would have been a little bit more organized had I been at home at the desk. I had a little bit of a plan, but once I'm in the car and I was in a parking lot, it just doesn't. I don't know. Didn't feel as neat as it was supposed to. But I hope I got some of the points across. Main points. I apologize for. Really, I believe I was the catalyst for this, right or wrong, whether you people believe it or not. I understand you guys are diehard bunnies. Thank you for that. I'm just telling you, I believe I am the cause of all of this. I don't control people's actions, but there's a lot of fucking shit here. And I think it is what it is. So just whatever. I apologize for this weird environment. My recommendation to everybody is to move on and give your followers and viewers content that they can enjoy and be happy. Before all of this, I talked about all the time, I just want to have fun. I want to laugh. And when we and Jimmy and I were doing some collabs, it was a lot of fucking fun. Now, the other thing that I will mention that this person said to me, which I agree. Good morning. My mail lady is here. Let me just get it out so she doesn't have to get out. I got you. Good morning. I took up your one on the back. I think I can now. So they could get it. Yeah. Have the certified stuff put together already, and then they send it to their machine, or you can go to the post office and generate a certified. That's why it's they might, yeah, they might have some file of whatever it was. This tracking number should be on whatever they received, and as long as they keep that full, I'm not sure how they file. I really don't, okay. Yeah, I've never ran into this before. The person who gets this, that is the one that. The minute you showed it to me, and I saw this, I was like, this is where I should sign. And then when I saw my name here, I was like, wait, I never, this is not my handwriting. I which is signed for your name. But I know this is the lady in the office that signed for it. Okay. So, yeah, they just sign it, they send, this tells you they got whatever.
Yeah, whatever was sent. They might be able to give you one. Well, just tracking number, be able to determine where this originated, whether it was a post office or a. Okay, I'll look into that. My best advice is to go to the post office. Call, it's gonna be what's the kind of cat and mouse? Yeah, it's very frustrating. I'm gonna call this town administrator first. I'm gonna deliver, and then I've never, yeah, I have like followers, and stuff like that. So I rule nothing out, but this is the first. So obviously, I don't, I think you're welcome. Okay. I'll get you a shot of it. But I remember packages. Like, people look for packages the other day. Yeah. Certified, I really just saw myself. Yeah. I don't check where they're coming from. So, okay. Yeah, I wish I could help. That's okay. I'm gonna figure it out. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
The absolute most insane thing has happened. I fucking kid you not. So I get out of my car and I go, I get out of my car. I go to the mail lady and she's handing me one of those green certified, so when you want to sign for something. So I look at it and she hands it to me. She goes, oh, I'm going to hand this to you. I already scanned it. And I said, where do I sign? And where it says complete this section on delivery, there's already a signature there. And I said, wait, explain this. Short story is somebody sent something to the town administrator's office and put my name as the person who sent it to them. Hold on. I don't know if I'm explaining that properly. It looks as if I sent them something, but it wasn't me. I didn't send, this isn't even my handwriting. But they wanted it to seem like it came from me.
Thank you for calling the Somerset Town office. If you know your party's extension, please dial it now. Please listen as our menu options have changed. For administration selectmen, press 1. Tax collector.
Hi, is this Jessica? Hi, how are you?
Hi,
Good. So, my name is Jess Machado, and I just encountered my mail lady, and she handed me a certified letter receipt, that was signed for at the town administrator's office, and it has my name on it to send the receipt back to me, as if this letter was sent to your office from me, but I didn't send it, but my name and address are on it. So she delivered this receipt to me, and the letter went to the town administrator's office. And is it Sue Freitas? Or, okay, so she signed for it for the town administrator. It was supposed to go to the town administrator's office. So do you know what this letter is? Or I guess, yeah, sure. Thank you. I have to go in the house. Can't sit in the car. So yeah, so it's got my name on it. It was addressed to the town administrator, and someone at the town office signed when the mail came in, and then they wanted it to be certified mail with signature confirmation. And then they said it was from me. I feel like this is wrong. I think this accidentally got delivered to me, to them. I don't understand it. Who would, hi, Mark.
What do you have over there?
So, so I just pulled into my driveway. My mail lady's here. She hands me some mail, and on top of it is a green certified mail receipt. You know what those are, right? When you got to sign for a certified mail with a signature confirmation. And she said, "Here, this is for you." And I thought like she was giving me a letter and I needed to sign for it. Only the section upon delivery had been filled out by Sue Freitas. And she said, "It's got to come to you." And I was like, "I didn't receive this. I didn't send anything." And she said, "Yeah, this is your receipt." And I was like, "I don't know why I have this. I didn't send anything to the town administrator's office." Did your office send me something on June 29th? Mhm. Well, it wouldn't even be in my name because the property isn't in my name. Yep. So that's what I'm wondering if this is they accidentally sent me this and she sent me something. But I didn't receive a letter that I would have had. The timing, now that you're mentioning it, does make sense. It may be about the registrar thing. Um, and I think like it's not even my signature. I don't know how or why why they would have given me the receipt and Sue signed it. Right. And I never got the letter. I never got a letter. All right. Well, if Jess isn't there, that's okay. You want to maybe just get back to me, and it's not a big deal. I just didn't know if, I guess the way that it looked to me was that somebody was impersonating me, sending something to the town administrator. You guys signed for it, and that the receipt would come back to me. You know what I mean? That's the way it was presented to me, and I unequivocally have not sent you guys anything. But now I'm wondering, did they do this backwards? Yes, I can. Actually, it says the sender. It says on the front, the sender is the town administrator. So why is she giving this back to me and why would Sue have signed it for it? To the registrar. Yes. Yeah. I did spend more time reading that law than I would have liked, right? And I'm glad that this happened because again, processes that weren't being followed for years and years and years deserve clarity and like them to be, adhered to. So at first I was a little upset by the whole thing, but I'm seeing like the silver lining in this is like let's just get it right. You know what I mean? However, Okay, have a great day. Bye. All right, sorry, we just talked about some things that could not be public. Anyway, we've got to the bottom of it. We think it's not as nefarious as our minds originally went to. Sorry for all of you who were hoping for mail fraud. Um, so we had an issue going on in our community about our registrars, so people that oversee elections. And I think I talked a little bit about it one day on one show. But anyway, the town had to send me, as the chairwoman of our Republican committee, a certified letter about the laws surrounding appointments of the registrars. She sent it to me in an email, but the town administrator, is saying that she was supposed to have sent it to me. However, it never got to me. I think she's not there today. It sounds as if she went and certified the mail, that it was supposed to be sent to me. This slip was supposed to have gone to the town administrator's office. Somebody in town hall signed for it. But I think it's possible it never got delivered here and it got wrongfully delivered back to town hall. I don't know how that could have been possible, but somebody at town hall got the letter. I never received it. So I think that's what they're trying to find out. It sounds to me like it was just a clerical error, but man, you know me, my brain was just like, is somebody pretending that I am is me? What are they sending? So it sounds to me like somebody made a mistake, whether it was the mail lady. It's possible that the person saw the green card and delivered it wrongfully to the town administrator and went back to them. But he's like, I don't know, maybe, who knows? I don't know. He's just as confused as everybody, but I never received the certified letter. Somebody at town hall signed for it. But either way, he believes it was a certified letter to me in regards to the registrar, which is fine. It's okay. I already got it in an email. So there's that. How about that, everybody? You know what? What's your show about? Dramatic ups and downs of everyday life. That's what my show is about. Okay. I think they mixed up the slips too, sent them to themselves. Yep, 100%, Rosie. I agree. I'm sorry, I mute. I apologize. I have to stop. If you joined late, take it to the chat. The chat knows what's going on. Okay, they did it backwards. I think so too. Okay. Fuck it, we'll do it live. All right. One more thing I want to mention about the person who I spoke with yesterday. Is really great. Very smart person. One of the takeaways is she said, I don't know why you got rid of Bunny After Dark. That was your best content and your best show. And I don't remember exactly why I said I was putting Bunny After Dark on hiatus. Maybe the chat remembers. What was my public statement on why I was getting rid of Bunny After Dark? Does anybody remember? I'm just waiting for you guys. Summertime, rebrand. It was all of that stuff. So no cameras. Finley's got it. So the real reason I got rid of Bunny After Dark is trifold, right? The first is I didn't want to be on camera. And obviously, if you've noticed, the majority of my work that I've done over the past month with all of this heightened stuff is behind this picture of me. I didn't want to be on camera because as confident as I am, and I promise you, believe me when I tell you, I am a confident person in my body, in my looks, in my life, in real life. I've been wearing a bikini my whole life, okay? Also, let's talk about the bathing suit debacle, but bikinis forever, right? Never cared. Confident, never that mom on the beach covered up. I was in the sand with my kids with my ass out, fat in a bikini because I live my life. But watching my looks get exploited, turned into AI pictures, it was a lot for me. And I felt like I didn't want to be on camera. I don't want people to see me. That's the honest truth. I didn't want people to see me. I didn't want more people making fun of me. If I didn't put a face on and hair and makeup, and by the way, like I said before, when you go on camera and you do have makeup, it's 10 times more in real life. What you see on camera, if I look like I have makeup on, I'm like caked on. I'm like fucking drag queen central in real life. unless I had that all on, I didn't want to be on camera, right? And even then, I still felt I couldn't take the making fun of my looks. Somebody commented yesterday, get Invisalign. I was like, you motherfuckers. I didn't want to put myself out there. I was like, I'm just not going to give it to them. I don't want to be there. Second, I thought that they were going to make fun of my skits because I don't think I'm that funny. In comparison to people like Jimmy, I don't think I'm as funny as Jimmy. And so while I was blissfully thinking we were doing funny skits and fun shit, I had a feeling that the minute the internet got it, I would feel different about my skits and feel like they were crap. Hello? Hi. All right, I have stuff I need to handle. I'm going to end. Jeff is calling me. I have stuff with the dogs. I need to do a bunch of things. So I'm going to end just because I have all of the things to do and I can't, all right, hold on. All right. Sorry, I have things to do. I wanted to stay on. It's 10:30. I've got to go in and handle a couple things before Jeff leaves. I will talk to you tomorrow or maybe later. Bye.
Who can send a text message full of hot demands? Pretend he's so strong with the words he sends. The doughboy can. The doughboy can. Who can open up my box using his thick man hands? Thank me for all my gifts in front of all of his friends. The doughboy can. The doughboy can. Who can play pretend online? Tell you he's in love. Use you up and shut you out.